Always fresh and a little bit sticky. Keep it locked on Cannabis Wiki. We're always fresh and a little bit sticky. The green room on Cannabis Wiki.
Thank you for joining us at Sticky Nugs on the Green Room. Derek, are we super excited about our next guest?
Absolutely.
So, Antuanette is Pleasure Peaks and
Peak Pharm Labs.
Peak Pharm Labs. What's the difference?
Yeah, so there's so many titles under my belt, but Pleasure Peaks and Peak Pharm Labs I'm both the CEO of, and they're two cannabis companies. So Peak Pharm Labs is established in Canada, which I'm really happy about, and it's a joint venture of Pleasure Peaks being in the States and Hybrid Pharms being a pharmacy here in Canada.
Hybrid Pharms.
Hybrid Pharms
Our,
is
our friends in
incredible.
Ottawa, Raheem and Angelo.
Yeah.
So how did that partnership come about, or how did that, is there because they're a compounding pharmacy, or because there's just difficulties in the...
You know what, like a little bit of background about me. I've been in the cannabis space for almost 9 years now. So I've gotten to work alongside Raheem and Angelo, seeing them grow in their cannabis careers. And they've seen myself grow in the cannabis and sexual health space. So we've been like working alongside each other for years, and I've always been great fans of them. I'm great fans of anyone who takes medical cannabis really seriously. And I love what they're doing. So as soon as they saw that we launched in the States our Pleasure line of hemp-based products, so we have lubricants, suppositories, bath salts, and they're like, you have suppositories? We need to like get this out there. And they're a medical company. They were looking for a face, and I was like, I'm the face and I'm looking for the doctors. So like, let's go at
I
it.
have a face, I'm looking for doctors.
I'm not a doctor, right? And people always think that I am, or I'm in the healthcare space. I'm just incredibly passionate about patients, and I've seen so much from the old MMAR program in Canada, and I want to make quality cannabis products, and I understand how to. So I'm happy that we have an incredible team. Some came from pharma, some came from cannabis. We have incredible business acumen as well. And we have our first product on the market, which is so
suppositories.
crazy.
I'm really excited about them because I'm a huge fan. I don't know anyone who follows me. I talk about suppositories not only like for women's health, so endometriosis, etc., painful sex, painful intercourse, but also I have Crohn's. So using the medicine right where it works is really right. So
you gotta use rectally as well for Crohn's.
Which I do, and it was very an uncomfortable conversation to have with people in the beginning when I first came to cannabis and would talk about how I medicate and how suppositories. Raheem and Angelo of Hybrid Pharm were the first people they were making my suppositories.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so we had met at Cannabis years ago, and then they're like, we can help you, we could do something. The problem at the time was, it's my medicine. Like I can't wait a week. I can't wait 2 weeks. I can't wait. And that was the problem. What is now?
Yeah.
Now here you are.
That's what my question was. So it's available at the OCS now?
It's not available on the OCS, so we're going the medical route. So we're available at Hybrid Pharms, which is a medical pharmacy in Ontario.
We talked to Mendo Medical the other day, and what they said is that the Hybrid Pharms, you have to travel there to get it or something. Like, can you ship it in the mail?
Hybrid Pharms does deliver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
They do deliver, straight to your door as well.
And is it, what do we know overnight? It's 2 days, 3 days, what's the...
I actually got mine in a few days. It was so fast. I was really happy about that. So they do deliver, they do ship, and they also can pick up at their pharmacy too.
Okay.
So I'm intrigued with you on a personal level as well. Why women's health and women's sexuality? It's that you talk about women and sexuality and sexual health and everything, and just tell me about yourself personally and your interest in that.
Oh yeah,
and why?
Myself and like my personal interest.
Come on, she's a very juicy story. She just doesn't want to share.
Oh no, yeah, of course. Like I'm a very sexual person. I used to be a tantric sex coach. I used to do tantric cannabis couple retreats. I'm very open about my sexuality. I'm pansexual. I love people that love to.
What does that mean?
Pansexual means that I'm heavily interested in women, men, and non-binary people as well, including transgenders as well. So it means that I'm sexually interested in that.
Super freak.
You know, I love that. My partner's like, you just love like who you love, and I feel like I can relate to different people and have amazing sexual experiences. I used to be an advocate for Field, which is a polyamorous app that helps people explore different kinks with other people that want to explore different kinks. And I don't know, I love sex. I think my last partner, I got engaged very early, so I really wanted to like explore different sexual fantasies. And ever since I did, I've learned so much about myself. It's so incredibly empowering. And I feel very empowered within my sexual health, not only in my sexuality, but also in my sexual health. And I think that's why it's so important. There's so many people today, because I speak on cannabis and sexual health globally all the time. And there's always people that come to me after the talk being like, I can't be intimate because of X, Y, and Z, whether that's a physical ailment, whether that's a psychological ailment like stress, trauma, or, you know, endometriosis or chronic pain, or even like shame within like religion or their sexuality. There's so many barriers to just having great sex. And I love great sex. Like, I think,
who doesn't?
I think orgasms are so healing. I think sex is so healing if intentional, right? Like if you're just like having like really rough sex, it's gonna be like really rough sex. But if you really want to have really intentional sex with healing, you can create those experiences, but they only come if you have those conversations and you're emotionally mature enough to create those types of environments. So that's why I love to share with people, is that you can empower yourself to have the best sex of your life. And there's many tools, and cannabis, I think, is the best tool that I've found over the years.
It's a real icebreaker.
Yeah.
How do you have those conversations? How do you start with a partner to have conversations about, first of all, cannabis conversations and sexual health? Like, do you meet someone at a bar or at a club and then say like, I'm freaky? Like, what do you?
It depends like where you're at, right? So if
How do
it's
you
like
do
a
it?
single person, you know, that wants to explore, I think having that conversation up front is really important. Like, you know, I feel that we don't have that sex conversation, even when dating. You know, people could go on their 8th, 10th, 13th date and they haven't had the conversation, be like, what do you really like in sex? You guys have just been having sex.
Right. Just
So,
been having sex.
like, I think having that conversation is really important. I would like to try cannabis in the bedroom. What are your thoughts on that? You know, and they could be like, oh, I think cannabis are just for like stoners, or they could be like, I love cannabis. How would I do that? You know?
How do you try it in the bedroom?
Yeah, and then
How?
and then that's the second step, right? So once you figure out that you want to use cannabis in the bedroom, you want to figure out why you would like to use cannabis, or how it would work best for you,
I'd be
right?
shoving one
What's
of these up
that?
Derek's butt and away we go.
Come on.
Yeah.
No.
I think,
Whatever.
yeah, I think that's why it's amazing that we have so many different cannabis products on the market. So what I say is, like, for people that are very much in their brain, they can't stop thinking about their job or their stress, or like, you know, the kids, and they can't really be intimate, probably, you know, smoking is probably your best bet to being that euphoric, that high feeling, that out of, you know, can really just enjoy it and be very mindful. But if it's something that's more physical, like pain during intercourse, like the actual penetration is painful, things like the suppositories are gonna be really helpful for people that can't really have a full orgasm or can't have a full experience.
So what? The suppositories can go in either end.
What I love about these suppositories is that they're safe for vaginal use and they're also safe for rectal use. They are, these 1 to 3 suppositories are specifically formulated actually for women with endometriosis. So that's been like everything that we've ever wanted to do. But these are THC and CBD suppositories. These things can be really helpful in increasing orgasm, increasing squirting opportunities, increasing
fun times.
more pleasure, sensitivity to touch. And if you have oral, it becomes an edible as well. So it's
We were
it's a
talking
lot of fun
to
stuff.
Dr. Carlin Costa.
Good friend. So
Yeah.
I'll interrupt.
No, don't interrupt.
Okay, remember the
And,
lunch she mentioned?
She was saying that you have to plan it because of the onset that it might take.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of, you know, apply whatever it is.
Lube.
Or
Did she say the marinade part?
She said the marinade. So yeah, Derek's on all, like,
Yeah.
she brought a tray of
We're
toys,
experts.
and
Oh
she
my
brought a
God.
big penis, and I'm like, let's
Oh,
break
tell
it
it all,
down for
Jackie.
Derek. Yeah, she talked about putting the lube on
Planning.
and letting marinate a
Right.
little.
Exactly.
'cause
Why?
she likes to go on Tinder and then just pick people on there, you know, and she might say, hey, I want to come over. So then she'll have to plan it first.
She's
Yeah.
really watching this right now.
Yeah.
Hi, We promised we'd throw you in here on Saturday, Derek.
Yeah.
She didn't. Did we mention suppositories with her? We talked about.
No, we didn't.
No.
We talked about lube. We
Yeah,
talked
the different lube
about
options.
smoking. Yeah.
What do you? So if right now this line has
These
lubes,
are
what
brand
else?
new to the market. Like suppositories are so new. A lot of people don't know about them.
Are they
And
carried out sticky nugs?
No, not yet.
Okay, but
Not
They're
yet.
not in the recreational market
They're
yet.
medical.
They are medical, yes.
Can we open it again
We're
so I
very
can see that?
highly interested in the medical channels because that's what we do. We're trying to do a lot more research on endometriosis and cannabinoids as well, because we're just finding so much efficacy in those areas.
Is there a different formulation if you're? I think
They
I'm
come
excited.
with a pack of 10, so you have like a
Here, let
ton
me see one of
left.
those.
Do you remember the ones from the Legacy Market? They had a little. They were in a little bluish black square. It was $80 for 4.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah.
what, do you remember those? Whatever. What were
I don't
those
remember
called?
who it was, but
I
yeah,
used to
do
get them all the
remember.
time, and it's $80 for 4. And then my husband's like, "We are going on YouTube. We're making these ourselves." But then that's when
Yeah.
Raheem and Angela reached out and said it's actually not that hard of a formulation, and there's many ways to use it and why you should be. And that they, at the time in cannabis, our compliance or whatever, they just couldn't. He's like, you can't add as much THC that he want as much as he'd want to or CBD.
Yeah.
Like, what is the THC
Yeah,
CBD in this?
good question.
10 milligrams, 10 milligrams of THC and 30 milligrams of CBD.
Oh, wow. So, and these are mainly for endometriosis, like
That's what they are formulated
Formulated
for. So, a lot of people are going to be using them for other ailments because they do help other ailments, but they provide relief to that pelvic area. So, as if you
Oh.
can think of anything else that would be painful within that area.
A friend of mine had twins about 2 weeks ago and messaged me and asked if I knew how long until she could use cannabis suppositories, and she's like really uncomfortable. And I said I would ask. I don't know.
Yeah.
So do you get high when
Because
you
she
use
just
that?
had kids, so then now it's a whole conversation about breastfeeding and
Right.
cannabis, right? So what I love is that we do have hybrid farms to lean on. So we always have doctors. If you want to send us questions,
right.
call us, send us an email even. You'll get advice from the doctor.
From the doctor.
As well.
Can you get high off of these? Like what? How does the suppository not get us high?
Mhm.
Yeah, because it kind of works like almost like a topical. It has like a localized feel, but I won't say they won't get you high because there is chances that it will. What I will is that you're very unlikely to get high.
Okay.
But that's so when we do insert them vaginally or anally, what I love about suppositories is that you actually get around 80 to 90% of the cannabinoids. And what does that mean? When you smoke a joint, you're getting around 15 to 20% of the cannabinoids. So you're
Sounds
getting
dangerous.
You're getting a lot more.
It's dangerous. See,
So
I'm
it's a
sticking
big-
one up your ass for sure.
Well, I can tell you, one time when I did distillate,
Oh,
I
one
put it
time.
under my tongue, okay? And I got so high,
Yeah, you win.
I had to lock the door, talk myself down,
Call
I
Jackie
was
crying.
freaking out.
Has this ever happened to
And
you
it was
before?
only a small amount. So I guess what I'm asking is, does that 10 milligrams, is it like 100 milligrams if you were to eat it?
No.
Okay.
It's a great question because you are absorbing more, so you would think so,
Right.
But no.
Okay.
Not in that aspect.
What else? Sorry, excuse me. Is in the line the pleasure fee? Is this just suppositories
I'm
as right
so
now?
excited for the line that we're developing. I don't want to share too much because there's so many people wanting to steal our stuff, of course. But we're focusing on sexual health only. We're not really interested in like IBS or dermatology or mental health. Like we're gonna leave those to the experts. We have experts in sexual health.
Okay.
Some of our team came from Pfizer. They brought Viagra to market. They
Oh,
have
wow.
30 years of pharmacy experience. Some of our partners in Canada have already done extensive research on endometriosis and sexual
Right.
health. So I'm really interested in menopausal products for fibroids, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and stuff like that. These patients really don't have a lot of products to market. I've been interviewing gynecologists actually all week, and it's been fascinating to learn that the first treatment is always birth control, just to stop our uterus from doing anything, but it's like we still need to live and
Which
exist,
is-
and it's not really
If you have fibroids, that's the worst thing. So I have had fibroids. They prescribed birth control, and that just feeds the fibroids. That's putting hormones, like their little blood,
Yeah.
just grew and grew and grew. Like I had I was 7 months pregnant, That's from being on the birth control and hormones that we're feeding, keeping the fibroids actually alive. So then when it was I couldn't bear with it anymore. That's when you have to have a full hysterectomy, uterus, ovaries, everything gone. And now I rely heavily on suppositories, heavily. So I really like the cannabis suppositories. I think they help tremendously. I recommend them personally all the time. And it's just I also think it's a great thing for women if you have your daughters are new to menstruation or sexual, whatever it is. I think suppository conversation is weird, but it's only weird because it's new. We need to talk about it more.
Shouldn't those be for 19 or over though?
Why?
Oh.
What? Yeah, why?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Get your
cannabis.
It is, yeah. So it's just like any other cannabis product. It's the same age gate.
Well, people give CBD oil to their kids and stuff, don't they? People give it cannabis products.
People give their kids a lot of things.
People give their kids a lot of things. Well, I just know that I think suppositories are a gentle, healthy, natural way
But I do
to
want to
heal.
touch on something you
Sure.
did say.
What?
The fibroids conversation. You
Okay.
know, cannabis and the efficacy of fibroids is a really interesting conversation. There's not a lot of research out there, but what I have found is that a lot of people who use our suppositories in our pleasure labs, where we get a lot of data in the States, really love our suppositories.
Really?
One thing that I think is so cool is I interviewed this woman once, and she's Ashley Athill, the CEO of Harvester and LP here in Canada.
we
We
know
just
her,
interviewed her a week ago.
Yeah, and she was on the Pleasure Talks podcast, and she talks about fibroids and cannabis, and she talked about how she got rid of her 13-pound fibroid with Rick Simpson oil, and I was absolutely fascinated by the story.
What was she doing?
Wow.
Ingesting it?
She was ingesting it, so she wasn't using it in suppository form, but Rick Simpson oil is a really high, one of the highest forms, concentrates of cannabis oil, and it was incredibly helpful for her. So these stories are things that I collect, that I bring to the doctors.
If I had known
and
that.
that's what we try to do, is we try to make sure that we can get the research so we can get published in the journal, so we can finally do the clinical trial. It's a whole process, but we understand that it's working.
And fibroids affect Black women more than they affect.
They do.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why when I went to the doctors and started the trials, I was probably one of the only white women. They're like, "What are you here for? Are you pregnant?" No, this is my fibroids.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot. And really, really helpful to have a suppository and not to know about that. And now you're talking about Ashley mentioning Rick Simpson oil for fibroids. Like that, the healing benefits of cannabis that we are just touching on, it's pretty incredible.
Tell us more about the Pleasure Labs.
Yeah. So Pleasure Labs is in the States, where you can opt in to get free pleasure products from us. So any of like our CBD bath salts or lubricants or suppositories, and we do those for specific ailments: endo, fibroids, and PCOS.
What?
If you-
For what?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome, just because it's so long.
Oh,
PCOS.
Ecos.
And if you do have those ailments, you're eligible for free products in the States, and then we follow up with them as well to gain that data.
That's good.
Are we allowed to talk about price points? What is this? How much do these cost here?
Yeah, they're $65 on the market right now for a pack of 10, which
I
is
was getting 4 for
incredible.
80.
Exactly.
It's great.
I love them. They're so incredible. I use them for so many different things.
So how like many would you use, one a day or something, or what?
People use them, differently. A 10-pack lasts me about almost 3 months, I would say.
Oh.
So I use them for many reasons. I use them for like IBS, constipation. I use them for pleasurable sex as well, but I also use them around my menstrual cramps too. So there's a few different reasons of why I use them. But they're also just great to have in your toolkit. Like, I think every woman has a toolkit in their bathroom, right? We have our vagina problem box, right? Of either like yeast infection creams or like boric acid or wipes. Like, this would be in there for those things that we get.
I mean, I don't know, but now I do.
Yeah, of course. And then, like, I love the male feedback that we get. We don't talk about it enough. The male feedback, the latest thing that I've learned, people are using these products for penis enlargement disorder, which I think is really fascinating.
What? Tell us what that is.
Is that clinically proven?
It is. It's a real ailment.
So
Tell us about that.
yeah, tell us.
I won't. But I know.
I
that
mean,
there
I
is a
think this is
patient
about. I think
that
Hybrid
I've heard.
Pharms are about to get a splurge of orders after you tell us
Splurge,
about
Jay.
it.
They're gonna get a
Oh my
splurge
gosh!
orders.
From the male perspective, we get a lot from IBS, constipation, the penis enlargement disorder. Also for
But so this is going to enlarge your penis.
no, it will not. That's not what that means.
So what's it
The
mean?
penis enlargement disorders, if some males have their penis that are chronically enlarged. We can't.
Oh.
Yeah. So this could potentially help.
Right.
Is that a problem? I don't know. Like I mean,
It
it's
could
a
be
problem
very
for me.
painful.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Like they get hard and then they stay hard.
It's not really hard. It's almost like inflamed.
Oh, have
But
you seen one?
No, I'm not. Thankfully, not a doctor in that aspect. But yeah, it's
We're
these are
Googling
these
that
sexual
after.
health of these conversations I'm always willing to have because they're just not talked about enough, and I feel
We
bad
feel the same.
that not everyone gets to have the mind blowing sex that we could all have.
Yeah, we're starting a new show where we're gonna have a call-in show to help people
Yeah. Oh, I love
with Dr.
that.
Carlin Costa.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, so stay tuned to the Cannabis
That's
Wiki
a
Network
good
for
one.
that.
Can you like? All she wants to do is talk about sex. Like she
Yeah.
and they rummaged up. So we could do this. We're gonna do this great show. And Derek's like, Colin's a good one.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
Colin
kind
would
of
be
like a
really
Dr.
good.
Sue, but it's Dr. Carlin.
I love that. Colin's amazing.
So tell us more about you personally, about you have a lot of accolades, you've got some awards, you've got some credits, you're a young entrepreneur, Black woman, businesswoman.
Thank you.
Boss bitch.
Yeah, I've been in this space for 9 years. So I've kind of like created a space for myself. I'm known as like the cannabis and sex expert, and I really love it. I travel internationally to speak on cannabis sex. I wouldn't change it for the world. But other than that, like I used to be the director of Canada at Women Grow. So I loved creating those chapters for women, creating resources for women and helping them advance in their careers, as well as entrepreneurs getting their businesses off the market.
Oh, that's good.
It's really, really a huge passion of mine because I've been one of the few women in the space for a very long time, and I want to see more. I also want to see more people of color. I created the Cannabis Built by Blacks Expo, an expo highlighting Black entrepreneurs and cannabis experts in the space.
When is that?
That was 2 years ago now, and it was so amazing.
We're doing a diversity panel at our Cannabis Wiki Expo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd love to have you come on the diversity panel.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's Derek's
We have
baby. I
Ashley
like when he
Adele coming on. We have Ika Washington. And yeah, we'd love to see you there too.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy that I work with Ashley and Ika on the diversity, equity, inclusion with Health Canada. I was one of the first few that were reached out by Health Canada to help on that program. And now I'm hoping to continue this conversation with BMO on creating more opportunities for minorities in cannabis as well. So
that's
I'm
awesome.
always trying to put forward Black people in the cannabis space. I feel that Black culture is light years ahead of the Black economy, which is insane to me. I feel that you can see Blackness in almost anything. Doesn't matter if it's food, culture, like product, packaging, but we're very much behind. So we're trying to get Black culture with Black economy.
Are you involved in the SEED initiative that Ashley and Michael are doing?
Yeah, like I'll always support Ashley. Like these people are like my brothers and sisters. So like they can know that they can always call me if they have a student or they need resources. They learned a lot from myself and my Green Rush program that I've built before SEED even existed. I just can't do the Green Rush program anymore because I'm too busy with these new projects.
Right.
But yeah, heavily invested.
Which is really great. We want the success at the end. Which you're busy because you're doing a lot of good stuff. And it's
I
good to be
really
busy.
miss mentoring. Like I really miss mentoring. I really miss Women Grow. I really miss uplifting small businesses. But I have a behemoth now.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in like 4 countries by the end of the month. So it's crazy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So it's growing really quickly, but I always try to, like if anyone emails me or DMs me, I'll always try to like share something because it's really important. It's so hard to get involved in this space. Like how do you know where to start?
What is something you're super, super proud of in the space? Something that you accomplished in the space that you're super proud of?
Thank you. Something I'm super proud of in this space. That's such a good. I think I'm super proud of Peak Pharm Labs. Like I
did it.
So Peak Pharm Labs is 9 years in the making, guys.
Wow.
Like it didn't happen overnight. It took 9 years to get here. Like, I'm old now.
I'm
Like,
old.
I'm not old, but it's like, damn. But anyways, I think that's the thing I'm most proud of because I know it's what's going to help the most people globally. There's not a single product on the market like this globally. It's probably the best innovative product of the year. It's probably
I see
the
it in some
most
magazines.
medical
Remember?
product.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing it getting mentioned and getting lots of people are really happy.
We're
and excited
noticing
about
that
it.
this is more of a medical device than an actual medical product. It's so exciting. But at the end of the day, I'm most proud of this because it's for endo patients. And like, let's talk a little bit about endometriosis.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
endometriosis is an ailment that affects 10% of the female population or 10% of the uterus owning population. And how does it affect them? It makes, some, and what I think is fascinating about endo is that it affects everyone so differently, so it's so hard to diagnose. It actually takes an average of 8 years to be diagnosed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really long time feeling uncomfortable, having painful period, having painful sex, having infertility issues, having constant bleeding issues, having anemia, having constant bloating. It's incredibly uncomfortable. And you would never know by just looking at them. So it's something that you might have a partner relationship and you're wanting to have sex with them, but they're just not really into it, and you're wondering why, but they don't feel comfortable expressing those things.
Right.
These are things that are really, really important to me. There are people that are married for years that are having issues with their marriage. There are people that I feel are being robbed from having a family because they don't know of the other alternatives that they have. When you go speak to a doctor when you have endo, they go through two different types of treatment methods. They either go towards the birth control option with NSAIDs, which is like Advil and Tylenols, or they go towards fertility, having children or having a full-on hysterectomy. So I feel like those aren't all of the options. Cannabis is a viable option. There are so many peer-studied, published papers that show that cannabis is incredibly effective. And not only is cannabis the most effective, suppository cannabis is the most effective.
So where can people get information about this? Because, or will this eventually go in the retail route too? Or you think it will just stay medical?
Yeah, right now we're having advertisements and working with clinics. So we have posters in gynecology clinics, chronic pain clinics, and work with different clinics as well.
Is there like a resource online that
We have tons of resources at
tell our audience.
pharmlabs.com. Yeah,
Okay.
like if you want to learn more about suppositories, endometriosis, or sexual health ailments, pharmlabs.com is the best way.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of people who are suffering that might not know to go, because you have to access it through a medical program in the cannabis, right?
Yeah.
So they might not know. So that's a good resource you have there.
Thank you. I definitely want to be in do we want to talk?
Sure. Do we want to talk? Do we want to talk about? We want to talk about everything.
Like the
Give us your
argument,
wish list.
like everybody's wanting us to be on the recreational side. I wish I could see all the emails I get every day
Right.
from dispensaries being like, "Can we get your product? Can we get your product in the dispensary?" And like, we're just not a recreational product. So we've been working with the Ontario Cannabis Store just to see if we can get get our products on the market. And
It's been a good time, right? They're
It's
awesome.
been such an educational curve for them, to
Oh,
understand.
yes.
Like pre-rolls are already like going up an uphill battle. Imagine me trying to explain how to put this up. It's a different kind of battle.
We
that
could
I
do
have.
pop-ups.
It's just like it's just an accessibility.
It is.
You know what I
massive.
mean?
And that's why I was saying, do you want to get into it? Because it's like Health Canada's medical system is slowly shrinking, and it's shrinking because there's so many cracks within the system.
Right.
It's not really easy to get a prescription, right?
Exactly.
It takes sometimes even money to get a prescription. Sometimes it has to be
And even just the
it's not
hassle.
as easy as going to your local dispensary, right? So
Right.
the model's different. But what I would argue is that I want people to go through the medical channels. I want people to speak to a doctor and understand how to use our products and who can speak to our products. What I love is that when you sign up with Hybrid Pharms, you get to book a clinic with meeting with a doctor within 20 clicks. So it's really easy getting a prescription. It's almost like doing a reservation at a restaurant now. You know?
Someone else told us about a 20-click consultation. I think
Yeah.
that's what because we're tired of all the click here, click there, wait for an email, 20 clicks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
we do want to be in the recreational, just because we want to make things as accessible as possible. But we do recognize that we want the respect of the medical channels. We do want the respect of doctors, gynecologists. There's still this huge stigma around medical cannabis. Huge, huge, and it's only going to be fixed with products like these, not flower products, not pre-rolls, maybe oils and tinctures, but they need to see more innovation and advancements in medical cannabis.
I'd like a patch,
therapies.
some sort of patch, those quick dissolve or the time relief pat, like you could put on your ab. Oh, that'd be so great. You give me some time relief THC
because that's
or something.
my background. My background is in holistic nutrition, working with patients. Back in the MMAR days, I used to work at a chronic pain clinic. I had over 5,000 patients. So I would see cancer patients, HIV patients, veterans, MS patients, a lot of palliative care spaces, and I'm just shocked by, the lack of support that they have, the lack of quality care or healthcare, and that's why we really wanted to make sure that our doctors are there for you.
No, yeah, I 100% get it, and it should definitely be in the medical space. I'm just thinking about like just accessibility and just like, some people, they're not going to take the time or like you said, that some things could have a cost, and but if it was just like almost like an over-the-counter medicine, then they might try it. You know what I mean? And then, so yeah, just wondering.
Just wondering, you can try them, Derek?
No. But actually, you want to know why? I know somebody who could try them and maybe might need them. Yeah. So
I think we all know someone who can.
Yeah, I think we all know lots of people that could definitely be helped by someone. In my own personal life, we recommend them all the time. Yeah. And I show them the LinkedIn or the tray where you can buy on Amazon and make them yourself. But then I'm like, okay, you could just go right to Hybrid Pharms. Instead of all
I remember a long time ago. Remember?
Yeah.
Hybrid Pharm's little jingle or whatever.
Oh, we did. In one of our first, after like maybe 10 episodes of the Green Room, we did like a little jingle for Hybrid Pharms because they had helped me a lot. Like I truly believed in what was. Exactly. Lots of people send me stuff and do stuff, but they were like, we're the compound pharmacy. We're the first of this first, and they believe in plant medicine and believe in how, and then they would tweak things and like, this will help you much more. When would a doctor or pharmacist ever do that? Like, there's just a lot of extra attention.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Because you seem very... She's
pretty cool. Like, she's being all business
there seems like there's a lot of layers to the onion. And just like having the conversation that we had now, it's like, it seems like you've been there like years ago where people are now. So like, I'm wondering like where you started and like where you are now.
My legacy experience?
Yeah, like it just seems like, you've been doing some of the ideas that people are having now. You've done that 4 years ago. Yeah. So you know what I mean? So it's like
and bringing everything to the States.
I'd like to hear a little bit about, your progression through the industry.
Yeah, thank you. How my progression through the industry? Yeah, I was definitely like very, very young, very, very young. I think probably my earliest thing I was probably like 18, 19. And actually, I met a really cool guy named Brett Bogue, which you guys should look up. He's been like a High Times best grower for the years, in like the 80s, and is still in medical cannabis today.
What's his name?
Brett Bogue. He's an OG in the cannabis space. I met him when I was 18, like 27 now, so like a long time ago. And he was just like, yo, come fly to Jamaica. We're building a medical cannabis. We're creating a medical cannabis clinic. And I was so fascinated because I was in holistic nutrition school at the time, and I was really excited to learn about medical cannabis, and I kind of just went, and I got to learn about the Jamaican government and Rastafarian cannabis, and me being Jamaican as well, and my grandfather being Rastafarian. It was really cool. But when I came back, I realized it was still the MMAR days, and everything was still very much underground. And I felt like I would never see legalization in my lifetime, to be honest. Like, I don't think anybody thought it would happen. I was just working with patients being like, this is so sad that this is what we have to go through, and yeah, it was just very eye-opening to me. So after working at that clinic, I started developing different cannabinoid therapies for different ailments because I was finding that some products are working for some ailments more than others. And that's when I kind of created my toolkit of cannabis products. And once I did that, I sold that to a naturopath. And then she uses that within her practice. And then I became the head of Women Grow. And I started helping women enter and understand cannabis, learn about medical cannabis, but also work with universities to create scholarships for women to get into cannabis as well. Like Academy of Applied Pharmaceuticals and Sciences gave away like 10 scholarships for Women Grow. And it was wonderful. I got to work with many of the LPs and we got to speak and you know, have our panels. And then I actually left Women Grow to run for politics because I ran for office because it was the first time that cannabis was at the council level. And I ran for city council, and I just felt that someone who actually knew about cannabis should be at this conversation and at this table, because it's really important that it's done the right way. I'm a huge geek when it comes to drug policy. Ever since like I was like in high school, I was just really fascinated about like Portugal's decriminalization. And stuff like that.
I find you very fascinating. I think it's phenomenal. Listening to the conversation, and I started to think about other conversations we've had at this table. The green room we touch base and we have fun and we meet people, but there's so many other conversations that happen from this. Like you hear it of like community and culture and family. Like there's just these conversations are woven all over the industry and can take us all like. I find you personally fascinating, extremely fascinating. And I don't like when they say, you know, young entrepreneur, she's a young one, young, whatever. 27 is not that old.
She's got 10 years in the business.
Yeah. Like, and is really well positioned, really mature and interesting. Plus also on a personal level, it's just really cool. Like there's a really cool, intelligent, interesting vibe of it. Like
I just like the progression.
I like the sexy vibe,
me
I guess. She's like,
yeah, after Women Grow, I loved it. I loved creating opportunities for women across Canada. And after I left that, it was just too overwhelming. I couldn't do Pleasure Peaks at the time. So then I decided to do Pleasure Peaks full time in the States. And then we started with a hemp pleasure line. So a hemp CBD line of lubricants, tinctures.
That's easier with the policy too, right? Because
so much
CBD
easier.
Is in the Pharm Act over there, so it's not
Don't
regulated.
Get me started. The US is
Canada.
insane.
Isn't it different state to state too? Though, like it's a nightmare. Isn't it?
No, but CBD is not
like
like
no, it's federally legal.
Oh,
which is wonderful.
So,
so
that
it's
was
a huge loophole.
Smart,
Huge loophole.
So that was
for
a smart.
Because I could start my business in the States for $40,000,
right?
Compared to like $400,000.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
and then the regulation, and you know, I imagine the cost for the supply is a lot cheaper there. You know, because you don't have to.
That's what I love about the States. The States is always incredible for business. The States is open for business. It's not good for people. It's good for businesses. Like if you want to know, this is incredible. But that's just the States for you.
So do you spend most of your time down there, or how's it?
So since the joint venture last November, Pleasure Peaks did a joint venture with Hybrid Pharm. So now
so now you're up here,
right? So now I'm here, and I've been here pretty much since doing that. It's been keeping me very busy, but I love it because it's everything I've been wanting to do over these 9 years.
Right.
It's doing the medical research, doing the drug formulation, and getting access to these products globally. That's
so is that an exclusive deal, or are you open to other pharmacies, I guess, or what would you call it, medical LPs? I'm
very happy with my manufacturer. I mind you, I've gotten offers from so many LPs to partner with me, and I've said no because they didn't have my standard of manufacturing or my standard of business.
Right.
And you know, so
I know.
That's why I was really happy when I partnered with our manufacturers. It's not Hybrid Pharm, they're not a manufacturer, but our manufacturers have pharma quality EU GMP certifications. This is the highest quality certification you can get in cannabis, and that's what I want for my patients. Like, mind you, like I get that you can create your own suppositories. I'm a holistic nutrition. I'm all about organic, making it yourself.
It's a pain in the ass.
It's not the people I'm fighting for. Like I'm really fighting for those people that need quality medicine and don't have anything on the market, because they do exist.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the colleges are now getting into pharmaceutical grade extraction, have programs for that. We partnered with Fanshawe College. They're doing a symposium at our conference. And yeah, they're inviting a lot of researchers and to talk about, the best way to extract. And, I'm really interested in like without any solvents,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm really excited about genetics, and gene modification and specific genetic formulations for specific ailments. That's like we obviously all know about the Charlotte's Web,
Right.
For cancer and epilepsy. I'm really excited about for something else other than Charlotte's Web. Like there's thousands of strains. Let's do the research.
So do you do pheno hunts, and do you have
We
a
do.
do you have a nursery license?
No, we don't.
More of a Pokemon catcher myself.
But we do work with them. So it's like, that's what I love. And that's also what I love, like, as an entrepreneur and, like, as a brand, I love that I'm not an LP. Like, I love that I'm not an LP. I love that I'm not, like, a microprocessor. Like, any of those people, like, I get to do my deals how I want to do my deals and structure it how I want to structure it. So, we choose who we want to have exclusivity with. And yeah, I'm so excited for
How do you
this.
get the genetics? Do you work like with Mother Labs or like?
Nothing in Canada right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like in Canada, it's kind of tricky. Like you have to get them in. Like say you found something that you wanted to get it in, you might have to do the one-time amnesty, and so it's complicated.
Do you grow your
I
own?
do grow my own pot. Yeah, I do every year. Last year was the first time that I was actually successful though. So
Really?
I'm actually like not a great grower,
But you like it. You can still enjoy it. Yeah.
growing. Like I love being with plants.
That's like on the spot. He's not a great grower, but he loves to grow.
He loves to grow. Not a great grower, but loves to grow.
Yeah, I love making my own topicals. Like I always make my own. Like I personally, like I would never like really buy topicals for myself because I just love making them my own. Because once you grow one plant, like you have so much pot. So
That's
it's
right.
like just throw it all in like a cooker, with some coconut oil and beeswax.
I love it.
So
I like
good.
to use it for all kinds of things, and I love
Everything.
growing my own, even if it's not the
Yeah.
best. Like it might not be the best smokable weed, but I can do so much more.
It's still good.
Right.
It's still a weed, right?
Yeah, it's still weed, and I also really like it when we have guests on and they are like, "Yeah, I grow my own."
That's why Jackie bakes these pot cookies. But you never know what you're getting.
You never know.
2,000 milligrams, or are you getting 20?
So
like that.
hey, so for now on, Derek gets a pot cookie followed up with a suppository. Whoop, right up there.
There's Carlin.
Oh, look at our live. Hi, Carlin. She's like, hey, wait, you're in my chair, bitch. She's like, hey, I know that guy. He promised me some sort of spot. Well,
Yes, the show's coming soon, Dr. Carlin.
yes, Dr. Carlin.
So-
Hey, what about the two of them together?
We'll sponsor it, don't worry.
Oh, you heard it. We'll sponsor
First
it.
sponsor.
We got you got your first sponsor, Carlin. Well, anything else you want to wrap it up or chat or?
I mean, there's so much to talk about.
We could go on
yeah,
forever.
maybe the
Plus,
next
her
one.
as a person is very interesting.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
very
like
cool.
the story. I
Yeah.
like hearing how, because she's still got so
Her
much to
challenges
go.
and her success.
But
Yeah.
it's
I
like
can't
it's
wait to see you in
amazing,
10 years.
right?
Yeah.
But it's amazing already.
Yeah, like
And
this
it's
is a
like she's so
rocket ship.
far
We got to keep
ahead
our eye on
because
this.
she started in the medical space, so she got a jump start
For sure.
on a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Young,
Thank you.
intelligent, attractive, powerful, owning herself, owning sexuality, owning her opinions. Or like, come on, I love it. Could be my daughter. Of course. Well, thank you for I'm going to thank you for joining us, but thank you for the little gift. And tell us where we can find you on socials. Where can we reach out if anyone has any questions, like to reach out to you personally?
Yeah, you can find me at AntuanetteGomez.com or Antuanette G. Antuanette is spelled, the Spanish translation, so it's no O and I. It's ANTUANE.
It's a doozy.
It is a doozy for sure. And you can follow us on our socials at either Pharm Labs if you're interested in cannabis products in Canada, and Pleasure Peaks if you're interested in hemp pleasure products in the States. And yeah, those are where you can find us. And if you do have any medical questions, you want to ask a doctor about medical cannabis, you're curious but not quite sure, please reach out to Hybrid Pharm. They would love to help you. And yeah,
For real,
those are the
they
best
would.
ways to help to reach us.
Awesome.
Thanks. Thank you for joining us on The Green Room. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you coming. The Green Room at Sticky Nugs, Fort York location. That was fun, eh, Derek?
Yep.
Yep. Derek's looking forward to his suppository treat later. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ciao.
Well, we are live from Sticky Nugs, one of the most beautiful dispensaries I've seen. And we're happy to be guests here at Sticky Nugs.
Yeah, we're kicking off our residency.
Thanks so much for having me, and we are so happy to have you guys here and be a part of this amazing journey. This is a family-run business, so I would say about maybe 15 to 20 years ago, maybe when I was a kid, my dad had this amazing, passionate idea of getting into the cannabis industry. It was so funny. I remember going into the garage and seeing him with this grid paper and had it all written out, and even the name and everything. And you always think, you know what? Hopefully one day cannabis can get to that point, but you never know, right? And I thought, you know what? Why not get into the family business and run this dream together? Because I just have such a passion about cannabis as well.
Yeah.
Already started, right?
Let's kick this
Get
up.
the ball rolling.
Yeah. Thanks again for joining us in The Green Room.
Bye.